Be me, 25-year-old female women's studies PhD candidate with focus on workplace discrimination, spent last 3 years researching how physical requirements exclude women from high-paying jobs. Thesis argues that strength tests and fitness standards are artificial barriers designed by patriarchy, constantly writing papers about how fire departments use outdated requirements to keep women out. Believe that most firefighting is about intelligence, strategy, and teamwork, rather than brute strength. Modern equipment and technology should eliminate need for excessive physical capability in emergency services. Always pointing out that women serve successfully in military combat roles worldwide. If women can handle war zones, they can definitely handle firefighting with proper training. We decide to prove my research by actually attempting firefighter certification myself. Going to document the entire process to expose discriminatory practices and unrealistic standards. Research local fire academy programs, looking for the most rigorous and traditional one possible. Find Metro Fire Training Academy, known for old-school approach and high washout rates, perfect for demonstrating how these programs are designed to exclude women systematically. Application process requires basic fitness tests just to get accepted into program. Push-ups, sit-ups, mile run, nothing that sounds particularly challenging or unreasonable. Spend 2 weeks preparing with yoga classes and light jogging around campus. Feel confident that my regular dance cardio classes have kept me in decent shape. Show up for fitness assessment wearing my "Nevertheless She Persisted" workout shirt. About 30 other applicants, mostly men but few women, scattered throughout the group. Immediately noticed the size difference. These guys look like they live in gyms. Tell myself that appearances are deceiving, and physical intimidation is part of the problem. Instructor explains the requirements. 50 push-ups, 60 sit-ups, mile run under 8 minutes. Seems totally doable. I've been doing modified push-ups in my fitness classes for years. Push-up portion begins. Immediately realize that full military-style push-ups are completely different. Manage about 15 before my arms start shaking uncontrollably and form breaks down. Instructor stops me at 22, most of which were probably not proper form. Watch other applicants knocking out 50 like it's nothing, barely breathing hard. Sit-ups go better. Manage to complete all 60, though my abs are screaming by the end. Mile run is absolute disaster. Finish at 9 minutes and 43 seconds, gasping for air, dizzy, feel like I might throw up in front of everyone. Most other applicants finished around 6 to 7 minutes, looking completely fresh. Instructor reviews results. Tells me I didn't meet minimum standards for program entry. Explains that I can reapply in 6 months after improving fitness levels. Ask about alternative entry paths or modified requirements for women applicants. Standards are the same for everyone. That's the whole point of having standards. Argue that these requirements don't reflect actual job duties of modern firefighters. Instructor looks at me like I'm completely delusional about what firefighting involves. Lady, you're going to be carrying unconscious people down flights of stairs and smoke. You think someone's going to wait while you take a break because you're tired? Feel frustrated, but not defeated. This is exactly the kind of discrimination I'm researching. Spend the next 4 months training intensively, hiring personal trainer, completely changing diet. Manage to barely pass fitness test on second attempt. Get accepted into next academy class. Show up first day, ready to prove that determination can overcome biological disadvantages. Class of 24 students. I'm one of only 3 women in the program. Other 2 women are both former military. Look significantly more muscular and athletic than me. Instructors explain that next 12 weeks will test every aspect of our capabilities. Academic portion covers fire science, building construction, hazardous materials, emergency medical procedures, excel in classroom settings, consistently scoring highest on written exams, and technical knowledge. Feel vindicated that intellectual capacity is clearly my strength in this field. Practical training begins with basic equipment, familiarization, and usage. Fire hoses, axes, ladders, breathing apparatus. All seems manageable during demonstrations. First hands-on drill involves advancing charged hose line up 3 flights of stairs. Instructor explains that hose weighs about 8 pounds per foot when filled with water. Our line is 150 feet, so we're dealing with over 1,000 pounds total. Partner up with Jake, one of the male students who seems friendly and supportive. Grab the nozzle end while he takes position behind me to help guide the hose. Instructor gives signal. Water pressure activates. Hose immediately becomes incredibly heavy and unwieldy. Take 3 steps forward. Hose pressure knocks me completely off balance. Jake catches me before I fall backward down the stairs, steadies me with his free hand. Try again, this time bracing myself better. Manage maybe 10 steps before strength gives out. Jake ends up dragging most of the hose weight while I basically just hold the nozzle. Watch other teams advancing smoothly up the stairs, working together, but both partners contributing. Feel embarrassed that Jake is doing 90% of the work while I struggle with basics. Next drill involves carrying victim down ladder from 2nd-story window. Practice dummy weighs 170 pounds, simulating average adult male. My job is to support victim's weight while partner guides us down ladders safely. Grab practice dummy. Immediately realize I can barely lift it off the ground. Jake has to take almost all the weight while I just try to stabilize and guide. Halfway down ladder, my grip fails completely, nearly drop the dummy. Jake catches everything, finishes descent, basically carrying both me and the victim. Instructor pulls me aside after drill, asks if I'm having physical problems. Explain that I'm still adjusting to the training and need more time to build strength. This isn't a gym membership. People's lives depend on your ability to perform. Tells me that if I can't carry my own weight, I'm putting my partner and victims at risk. Feel defensive and frustrated. Argue that teamwork means covering for each other's weaknesses. What happens when your partner is injured or unconscious and you're alone? Spend that evening researching firefighter injury statistics and solo rescue scenarios. Discover that firefighters frequently work alone or with incapacitated partners during emergencies. Start to realize that my academic understanding of teamwork doesn't match operational reality. Week 3 introduces ventilation training. Cutting holes in roofs with power saws. Chainsaws weigh about 20 pounds, need to be held overhead while cutting through materials. Manage to lift saw overhead for maybe 30 seconds before arms start trembling. Can't maintain steady cutting motion. Saw starts jumping around dangerously. Instructor immediately stops me, explains that loss of control could injure someone below. She said that watch classmates cutting clean, precise holes while maintaining perfect control throughout. Clearly, this requires sustained upper body strength that I simply don't possess. Next challenge is search and rescue in smoke. Filing full gear, breathing apparatus, protective clothing, tools add about 60 pounds to body weight, crawling through dark, confined spaces while dragging equipment and searching for victims. Within minutes, feel completely exhausted. Breathing apparatus feels impossibly heavy. Have to stop repeatedly to rest while teammates continue moving efficiently. Find practice victim, but can't drag them back to exit without help. Jake ends up pulling both me and the victim, while I just try not to get in the way. Starting to realize that every single drill exposes the same fundamental problem. I simply don't have the physical capability to perform essential firefighting tasks independently. Week 5 covers ladder operations, extending and climbing aerial ladders to rescue victims. Ladder sections weigh 50 to 100 pounds each, require coordinated lifting by multiple people. My job is to help guide and stabilize, while stronger team members do actual lifting. Even this supportive role proves challenging. Can't maintain grip on ladder sections. During climbing drills, struggle to ascend even basic extension ladder while wearing gear. Other students are running up ladders carrying additional equipment and victims. I'm moving slowly and carefully, taking breaks every few rungs to catch my breath. Instructor times are a sense. I'm consistently 2 to 3 times slower than anyone else. In a real fire, that extra time could mean the difference between life and death. Start feeling genuinely guilty about potentially putting victims at risk with my limitations. Week 7 introduces vehicle extrication using hydraulic tools to free accident victims. Spreaders and cutters weigh 40 to 60 pounds, require precise control under pressure, can barely lift the tools, let alone maintain steady pressure for effective cutting. Watch teammates efficiently cutting through metal while I struggle with basic operation. Realize that even with mechanical advantage, these tools require significant physical strength. My attempts are slow, imprecise, and would be completely inadequate in real emergency. Week 9 covers wildland firefighting, hiking long distances while carrying heavy packs. Packs contain water, tools, emergency supplies, typically weigh 60 to 80 pounds. Can't keep up with group pace even on flat terrain. Fall behind within first mile. Teammates have to take turns carrying portions of my equipment so group stays together. Feel like a complete liability slowing down an entire team during simulated emergency response? Final weeks involve comprehensive testing of all skills learned throughout program. Written exams are no problem. Score in top 10% on all academic materials. Practical skills testing reveals consistent pattern of inadequate physical performance. Can't complete any timed physical challenges within required standards. Need assistance from teammates for every single hands-on skill demonstration. Graduation day arrives. Instructor calls me aside for private conversation before ceremony. Explains that while my academic performance was excellent, practical skills don't meet standards. Can't recommend me for firefighter certification based on inability to perform essential duties. Offers alternative suggestions like fire prevention education or emergency dispatch positions. Feel completely defeated, but also starting to understand why these standards exist. Attend graduation ceremony. Watch classmates receive certifications I couldn't earn. Jake and other teammates are genuinely supportive. Say I tried harder than anyone, but everyone understands why I couldn't meet the physical requirements of the job. Drive home that evening, finally confronting reality about what I've learned. Spent years arguing that physical requirements were discriminatory barriers. Now understand that these standards exist because the job genuinely requires these capabilities. People trapped in burning buildings don't care about gender equality or social justice. They need someone who can actually carry them to safety regardless of circumstances. Begin researching actual firefighter duties and physical demands more thoroughly. Discover that strength requirements have decreased over time as equipment improved. Modern standards represent minimum capabilities needed for effective emergency response. Realize that my academic theories were based on wishful thinking rather than operational reality. Start completely rewriting my dissertation to reflect what I've actually learned. New focus on how we can increase women's participation while maintaining necessary standards. Get pushback from advisor and committee who expected different conclusions. Some professors seem disappointed that I'm not confirming their preferred narrative. Defend my new research by explaining that people's lives depend on firefighter capabilities. Argue that lowering standards to increase diversity could result in preventable deaths. Graduate program becomes uncomfortable as I challenge prevailing ideological assumptions. Finish PhD with dissertation that contradicts most of my previous academic work. Now work as consultant, helping fire departments develop better recruitment and training programs. Focus on identifying women who can meet physical standards rather than changing the standards. Also develop alternative career paths and fire services for people with different strengths. Get criticism from feminist organizations who think I've been brainwashed by patriarchy. But helping save lives matters more than maintaining comfortable political beliefs. Looking back, Fire Academy was the most important education I ever received. Learned that reality doesn't care about our political theories or social preferences. Sometimes, jobs have genuine requirements that can't be wished away through activism. Wish more academics would test their theories against real-world applications? Now trying to help other women understand both opportunities and limitations in emergency services. Real progress comes from honest assessment of capabilities, not denial of biological differences.